Hello there, fellow F1 enthusiasts, and welcome to Formula One Talk with a review of this weekend's action from China. Lewis Hamilton had secured pole position for Mercedes, becoming the first Englishman to do so since Stirling Moss in the 1950s. But that wasn't the only big news from qualifying. Red Bull's Mark Webber was disqualified from his grid position for not having enough fuel in his car for a fuel sample for the FIA to test. As a result, he began his race from the pits. The field started well, especially the two Ferraris, getting past a slow start in Kimi Räikkönen and challenging Lewis Hamilton for the lead going into the first corner. The teammate drama that happened in Malaysia continued here as the two Force India cars collided slightly as Di Resta hit Sutil at the end of the first lap. Things wouldn't get any better for the German as he was shunted out of the race by Sauber's Esteban Gutierrez. Both cars eliminated from the day's action, with the Mexican penalised with a grid drop penalty in Bahrain next time out. Toro Rossos were having their best race of the season as they were on a different strategy from the rest of the field. This enabled them to be out in the middle of the point scoring positions for the majority of the race. Using this type of strategy, Sauber's Nico Hülkenberg even led the Grand Prix for some 10 laps or so. Things went from bad to worse for Mark Webber as he collided with the Toro Rosso of Jean-Eric Vergne on lap 15. This led Webber to damage his front wing. He pitted at the end of the lap for repairs, thinking back to what happened to Fernando Alonso at the end of the first lap of the last Grand Prix. It was all for naught, however, as the Aussie retired a few laps later with damaged right rear suspension. After the race, he was judged to be at fault for the crash with Jean-Eric and was handed a grid penalty for Bahrain in 6 days' time. Just then, a lap later, the McLaren of Sergio Perez and the Lotus of Kimi Räikkönen made contact at the exact same corner as the Webber-Vergne collision. This left Räikkönen with a less than perfect front wing. However, when pitting a little further down into the race, the team didn't change the wing, leaving the Finn with a piece of the nose cone flapping about for the majority of the race. Contrary to popular belief, this wasn't actually slowing him down too much. Nico Rosberg retired on lap 21 with suspension damage. Meanwhile, his teammate Lewis Hamilton was fighting with the resurgent Räikkönen for virtually the entire contest. But the tyres were starting to degrade badly, leaving the team no choice but to order him to fall back from this battle. Sebastian Vettel, by contrast, was having a quiet race for a change and had been chasing Lewis Hamilton down after his final pit stop. Hamilton's tyres were just falling off the proverbial cliff that Pirelli seemed to talk about, and the German was catching him by about 2 seconds per lap, going into the final lap of the circuit. However, a mistake by Sebastian going into the third sector cost him a podium position as he was almost on the Englishman as the Mercedes crossed the line for third. But a beautifully judged race from Ferrari and Fernando Alonso gave the Spaniard his first win of the season. He didn't put a foot wrong all day. Kimi Räikkönen finished second despite the damage to his front wing. On to the race results. First place with a magnificent victory, Fernando Alonso. Second place, Kimi Räikkönen. Third position goes to Lewis Hamilton. Fourth, Sebastian Vettel. He almost caught Lewis there. Jenson Button with a fifth place, best he could do with the car he's currently got. Felipe Massa, sixth. Daniel Ricciardo, seventh in the Toro Rosso. Great race for him. Paul Di Resta, eighth. Not bad considering he collided with his teammate to begin with. Romain Grosjean, ninth. The class differential between Räikkönen and his teammate Grosjean definitely showing now. And 10th with a single point, Hülkenberg of Sauber. On to the Drivers' Championship now. First, Vettel with 52. Räikkönen second with 49. Alonso moves up to third on 43. Hamilton fourth on 40. Felipe Massa fifth on 30. Mark Webber sixth. He didn't score anything. He's stuck on 26. Rosberg and Button are 7th and 8th respectively on 12. And 9th is Romain Grosjean on 11. And rounding up the top 10 in the championship is Paul Di Resta of Force India on 8 points. On to the Constructors' Championship now. Red Bull top with 78. Ferrari second on 73. Lotus third on 60. Mercedes fourth on 52. McLaren are fifth on 14. They have the same amount of points as the team in sixth, who are Force India. Toro Rosso seventh on 7. Eighth in the championship at the moment are Sauber on 5, with Williams, Marussia and Caterham in those positions yet to score. What can we determine from this weekend in China? Well, the Ferraris are well and truly back on form, and if not for a bad first stop for Felipe Massa, he probably would have been on the podium alongside his teammate. We can gather that the Lotus cars are faster or just as fast with wing damage. We also know that Mark Webber's luck will probably never change for the better, and we also found out that the Mercedes cars are still not quite fast enough in race trim to challenge for victories yet. The next race is in just 6 days' time from Bahrain on the Shanghai Circuit, so I'll see you here this time next week for more Formula 1 talk. So until then, I thank you for watching. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you then.